Whoopi Goldberg has accused Republicans of trying to reinstate slavery in America.
Take a look at the things that they're rolling back. Remember I said ages ago, they, in their minds, they want to bring slavery back. They're okay with it because, you see, things change. One of the good things about the Supreme Court is you can fight to make sure you make stuff better. You don't generally fight to make stuff worse.
Or to
roll back. And to me, if you're okay rolling that back, when things were not even a state, when we had no say, so how's that going to roll? How's that going to roll? What's the next thing? Because, on this, with all of this comes birth control.
Right.
With all of this comes everything that you need as a woman to have had put in place to make sure that we were doing better than we were before.
The Republicans want to bring slavery back because they also don't think babies should be murdered. And the Constitution guarantees a right to condoms, which women need to have everything that they need. I think that is the argument that Whoopi is making here. It's kind of an ironic argument because the best legal and historical argument today against abortion in America is the argument against slavery. In fact, the really hardcore portion of the pro-life movement calls itself the abolition movement. The reason that abortion is wrong is in large part because human beings are proper subjects with rights themselves. They're not merely objects for our use. This is also an argument against the surrogacy industry. You should not be able to buy and sell human beings for your own convenience, and you should not be able to murder innocent human beings for your own convenience, because human beings are not just your property. Human beings are not just a commodity to be bought and sold and possessed and discarded of. A human being is a proper subject with rights. So Whoopi, obviously a little bit confused on the slavery thing there. Then to say that Republicans want to bring slavery back, why is that? Well, because they want to go backward you don't want to go backward, you want to go forward. You don't want bad things, you want good things. Right, Whoopi, but one mark of education and of civility is being able to entertain the ideas held by your opponents. And so I totally understand that you think the things that you're pushing for are good and the things that we're pushing for are bad. But can you not therefore see that in our minds, the things that we're pushing for are good and the things you're pushing for are bad? Like, we think it's good not to murder little babies, and you think it's good to murder little babies because you've convinced yourselves that it's an essential matter of human rights for women to be able to snuff out the lives of their own children. And you've determined this because you have an anthropology and a political ideology that begins from the false premise of a hyper-individualism, and because you've come to the erroneous conclusion that being able to sleep around, to be promiscuous, to go work in the city alone, to not have a family, to not have children, and to not feel any responsibility toward anyone else will somehow make you happy. But it won't make you happy, but that's what you think, and so I understand how you've come to that conclusion. Can you not see how we've come to the conclusion that it's wrong to murder babies? It seems to me that's an easier one to understand. Right now, go to pepperdine.edu/Knowles. If you have been debating starting a career in politics, you got to check out Pepperdine School of Public Policy. Pepperdine School of Public Policy stands out among the 200-plus graduate policy programs in the country as one of the few that is based out of a Christian university. By joining Pepperdine School of Public Policy, you will become part of a powerful alumni network. These alumni are making a difference around the country and the world, serving in diverse positions, including Capitol Hill staff, diplomats, think tank analysts, and charter school founders. Pepperdine School of Public Policy sits at the top of Malibu, California. The campus is nestled in the rolling foothills of the Santa Monica Mountains and overlooks the scenic beaches along the Pacific Ocean. It is just fabulous. It's probably the most beautiful real estate in the country, certainly in the continental USA. For our listeners only, the School of Public Policy is offering a guaranteed $2,000 scholarship on top of normal scholarship offerings when you go to pepperdine.edu/Knowles. That is pepperdine.edu/Knowles to request more information and start your application. And then further to say that there's a right to condoms in the Constitution. Maybe you like condoms. Maybe you want there to be condoms. Maybe you love the legal license to condoms. Okay, I guess you can pass a law about that. But you're really going to tell me that that's in the Constitution? Where's that in the Constitution? Our founding fathers didn't think that was in the Constitution. The great statesmen who built up our country for the first 170 years, 180 years, even later, 185 years, didn't think it was in the Constitution. It's only through two mid to late 20th century Supreme Court decisions, which is Griswold versus Connecticut and Eisenstadt v. Baird, which determined that there's a right to condoms. And the first one said there's a right to condoms for married couples in the Constitution, but not for anyone else. And then Eisenstadt said, actually, sorry, the invisible ink, we were able to uncover a little bit more of it in the Constitution, and it says that there's a right to condoms for unmarried couples too. Okay, well, whatever. It's just not there. It's not, as far as I can tell, it's not there, and no one ever thought it was there until about 50, 60 years ago. So what is your conclusion here from the principle of constitutional law? The left's conclusion is anything we want is not only permitted by the Constitution, but mandated by it. And anything that we oppose is outlawed by the Constitution because we say so. And our opponents are the devil himself, and they want to reinstitute slavery. And what's our evidence of this? Nothing. Okay, it's a sign of desperation from the Democrats, but it's also nothing new. Don't forget, this is the campaign line trotted out by the current Democrat president of the United States when he was running for re-election as vice president. And he claimed that Mitt Romney wanted to do the same thing Whoopi Goldberg is accusing us of.
Look at what they value and look at their budget and what they're proposing. Romney wants to he said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Going to put you all back in chains. This was I believe in North Carolina, so there were a lot of black people in the audience. Mitt Romney's going to put you all back in chains is what he's going to do. Other notable thing about that clip, you know how Joe Biden, because he's senile and obviously has dementia, he doesn't speak right anymore? And the Democrats have tried to convince us that he's had a stutter for his whole life. He had a childhood stutter, and he's always stuttered his whole life, and that's why he talks that way now. It has nothing to do with his obvious dementia. Well, that wasn't that long ago. That was, 10 years, 12 years ago? And Joe Biden sounds Periclean compared to what he is now. Where was that stutter? Where was that stutter from the beginning of his political career in 1971 through about 2018, 2019? Disappeared, then the childhood stutter came back. And the old stupid talking points came back too. This is it. So while I agree with some of these Democrats like David Axelrod and some of the campaign strategists who say, this ruling in Arizona might be a political benefit to Democrats in a crucial swing state, or the way that the election is being conducted with still a widespread use of mail-in ballots and drop boxes, that might help the Democrats. That's true. They've got some real advantages going into 2024, but the fact that they've got to retreat to these kinds of arguments, the Republicans want to enslave you again or something, to me is a sign of weakness. That was a great clip. It was so smart and hot and sexy. Make sure that you ring the bell and subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel, and you will get a lot more of them.